Even men at the top of their game find themselves wanting more from life. Whether it's more meaning, unshakable confidence, a bigger impact, more money, deeper love, a hotter sex life, or a powerful legacy. Find out how good your life can be on this episode of Man Alive. Also, as I've supported men in their love and work lives for 15 years now, many men ask for the right words to say to be more successful, attractive, and desirable. But I found it's not so simple as giving scripts or lines because every man is different. So giving words or scripts would be like giving a tall, thin man a shorter, wider man's pants, or vice versa. The words have to make sense for you and your personality, and there's so much happening beneath the surface that people are responding to. If you're interested in how to become a better lover and leader in your own unique way, go to shanajamescoaching.com/quiz, or you can text ALIVE to 44144. It only takes a couple minutes and you'll start to get an idea of how you can be both more respected and desired. After you fill it out, we can schedule a time to review your quiz and talk about your specific challenges and desires. So again, go to either shanajamescoaching.com/quiz or text ALIVE to 44144. That's ALIVE to 44144. Enjoy this episode of Man Alive. Hello, and welcome to this episode of Man Alive. I am excited to be here today with Dr. Vibe. Welcome, Dr. Vibe. Thank you for being here.
I am fired up, jacked, excited that you found me in this great digital world.
This great big world. I'm so happy that you're here and that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to share. We're going to have
so much
sharing today.
Yeah,
so I'm
we're going to talk about sharing
this.
about emotions and coming out of the pandemic and, men's relationships and how to actually have them be solid. And we're going to talk about fatherhood and manhood and self-care and all of these things. So where do you feel inspired to start in the range of topics?
Okay, this is how we'll start.
Okay.
Might give the men and those who love them this question: how's your heart? And as I was saying to my lovely friend on the other side of the screen, that most of the time when I start my conversations with men, I ask them this question, and most of the time they will say, "Well, I haven't had a chance to work out during the pandemic." And I say, "I'm not talking about that heart." Uh-huh. And about 75% of them will give me screw face saying, "What are you talking about?"
Right. What other heart do I have?
And I'm talking about the emotional heart.
Uh-huh.
The last 12 to 14 months have been a shift.
Oh, wow. Yes.
And a lot of times, many guys don't like shifts. We like the 1 + 1 = 2. Well,
very
for the last
consistent equation.
You know what? Straight. That, well, it hasn't been 1 + 1 = 2 for the last 12 to 14 months. So that's where we can start off with our conversation. How's your heart? And if your heart isn't right, how are you taking care of it?
And how would a man know for you? Because when I work with men one-on-one, right, we can dive into that in a very tender way. Mm-hmm. For the men listening, how do you guide them into knowing, oh, is my heart right? Is it not right? What's happening here?
Well, I would say, again, this is even a deeper question for men. 3 words. Are you happy? That's a whole other segment right there.
Yes.
I notice in my helping men, because I don't like to say I work with men, I help men.
Okay.
How are their relationships? Like, I could give a series of questions. Like, I could give it many times. I'll give a man a question when I first meet him, saying, if you couldn't fail, what would you do?
Uh-huh.
Because there's a lot of men out there that haven't achieved their goal, dream, and desire.
Yeah.
But we have to give men a safe and a brave space, not just a safe space.
Safe and brave.
And brave space. A man can be in a safe space and he'll do this.
Which is nothing for those of you who are listening.
Right?
Nothing's happening.
Quietness, right?
Yeah.
But when it's a brave
What's a brave space?
That means when they open themselves up and share. And I'm a little bit of a different person from most. I've heard the word vulnerability a little bit too much for me. Mm-hmm. I like to make it simple for men. Like things simple. They don't like complicated. I just say, be open. I want to earn your trust so you can be safe and brave.
You want to earn a man's trust.
Yes, for them to be safe and brave with me.
Got it.
I wanted, because if you can't develop that foundation, they're not going to open up to you.
No.
Many are
So
not.
how do you develop that trust? How do you call out that trust?
I call out that trust by asking those questions. I have a series of questions I ask men saying like, hey, what are 3 things you're doing that are helping your life? What are 3 things that you're doing that are not helping your life?
So the question, that's really beautiful, because I'm a big questions person. I think if I, sometimes I think about, a lot of people talk about answers and give answers. I'm more of I ask questions also. And I think it's really powerful, right? To show up in someone's life and be willing to ask a deep question as opposed to just those surface everyday questions.
Well, when I'm working with a man, I tell them, you're an investment to me. You're not an expense. I want to invest in our relationship.
Yeah.
I want to say that he has value.
Yeah.
I want to make him feel that he has it, because there's a lot of men out there that don't feel valued.
Yeah.
They don't feel appreciated. So
and what do you say, right? What do you say to a man who doesn't feel valued or appreciated? Because there are many, especially, these days, relationships are not all going that well. And
no, they're not.
In one and not feel valued or appreciated, or alone and not feel valued or appreciated. What do you bring to those men?
I sit with them and point out all the great things they are doing, because a lot of times we tend to attract to the negative, or they're not. But I think most men are supermen, but they're just Clark Kent's working to be a little bit better each day.
That's a great metaphor.
So I tell them, I want to point out all the good things that it's just like someone who, when you're helping them get a new job, you ask them, okay, what did you do at your old job? Nothing. And I said, no, you just didn't sit at a desk and do nothing. So we just start looking at all those little achievements that they made, because it's the little things that are going to make or break the vine, not the big things.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, and I will ask a man, what was the last thing you celebrated?
That's the word celebration was coming up. Yeah. Right. Like that we have to, and especially men, I think, have to celebrate those little wins, or maybe they're not even little. They're actually bigger than we realize. They're just wins. Yeah.
One of the things I regularly do, and I suggest men that do this, I don't care where you are. If a win happens, celebrate it right then and there. Because most of the time, if we don't, we're going to forget about it. So celebrate right. So when I get a win, I will go, yes. And I don't care where I am. I'll pump my fist and say, yes. And people may think this guy's on crack. No, I'm enjoying that moment, because if I don't do it right then and there, I'll probably forget to do it. And another practice I have is every Sunday, I go look back at my past week and I look at 3 wins that I had.
Oh, I love it.
So it's a good reflection in regards to positivity. And it also sets me up for the new week that I'm going on a positive.
Yes.
I'm going in on a positive. I'm not going, oh man, it's Monday all over. No, I got this stuff done. Let's see. And I've got myself ready for the next week. So I'm ready. Because at the end of the day, it all starts with you, man.
Yeah.
It all starts with you.
As you were talking about doing your fist pump and saying yes, no matter where you are, I love the bravery of that. It reminds me that so many men I've worked with don't want to look weird, don't want to look weak, don't want to, whatever it is. I don't want to look a certain way. Do you work with that self-consciousness?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I tell them, you're either going to be your best friend or your worst enemy. So I really try to get down to the just a basic low level, so they understand. Where I want to be able to mirror and match their language. But I try to make it think so, because if we can relate, then those wins are going to come and they're going to see things in a new way.
Yeah.
Because we're there to add light to their lives. We're not there to add darkness to their lives.
No. So how do you help men make that shift from being their worst enemy to their best friend?
Well, again, develop a relationship. I will say, okay, what's one thing that you'd like to work on that you haven't been able to achieve? What's a dream goal or desire that you have not been able to achieve?
Yeah.
And then I say, okay, well, I'll get them to lay out step by step by step by step. And every time they achieve a step, you know what they're going to do? They're going to celebrate. There you go. There you go. I'll give a very good example. A few years ago, I was working with a young man, and he said that he was in a situation where he had limited access to his son.
Yeah.
So he was partner with a worker. And one of the things that came out in one of our conversations is, well, I'd like to write a book. I said, okay, fantastic. So we sat and went through every step of him writing the book. And the first step that he agreed on was, you know what? I'm going to put up all the transcripts on my wall and put them all in order. Wouldn't you know, about 3 weeks after that, the person that he was working with called me up and said, hey, I went over to so-and-so's house. I go, yeah. He says, you must be having some sort of effect on him. I saw all these papers on his wall of his book writing and all that. And I said, that's a huge win, because that's something he wanted to do that was a dream, goal, a desire that he wasn't able to get through. And a lot of times we as men, we see the forest, but we don't see the trees. And people like yourself and myself, we're there to help them navigate through the trees. See the trees and navigate through the trees, because men need help. As in, I tell every man, if you think you can do it by yourself, just remember you didn't come into the world by yourself. unless you're watching.
I love the encouragement for men to actually get help, because it's been such a taboo, or
it still is. It still is in many cases. But one of the wonderful things during the pandemic that I've seen, I can only speak for myself, is more men getting into communities and sharing and talking and finding commonalities. I'm part of a group online on a social platform, Monday to Friday at 10 o'clock, 10:05 Eastern time. We get, the name of the room is called Are You Man Enough? And we tackle all different types of subjects. Wow.
What are the subjects that come up there?
How important is your family to you? We also ask, you know, after the pandemic, what next? Then we also have fun about it, saying we'll play 2 truths and a lie. Ooh. So we mix it up to have a little bit of fun, seriousness. And it's been wonderful, because I've been able to now develop relationships with men as far away as Indonesia and Bali. Wow. And I'm based here in Toronto, and we communicate on a regular basis. And it's really key that, and I'm a big proponent of this, is that I believe that every man should have 2 or 3 men in his life that know everything good about him and everything bad about him. The ride or die guys.
The ride or die, yep.
We need that, because we're going to have those during the vicissitudes of life. We're going to go up and down and up and down. And when you're having your down, I don't think most of us want to be alone.
No, I mean, I think that first layer is often, I don't want anyone to see this, or I'm embarrassed. But then really, when you get deeper, nobody really wants to go through that alone.
No, but we have to acknowledge even strong people struggle.
Yes. Everybody struggles.
Right? Even strong people struggle. And, you know, so and again, it takes time to go through that, because we've been so programmed that I'm tough and this and that. No, man, you know something, the men that concern me the most are the ones that are screaming and nothing's coming out.
Yes. Right. I mean, I had an experience a couple years ago where, when someone asked me what my purpose was or my mission was, and what came out of me through like tears, and then I felt like I was going to throw up, and it was all around decreasing the rate of suicide for men, because so many men feel so isolated. And so
I don't know if you know this fact, and one of my mentors, Glenn Barker, who used to run the Mankind Project in Chicago, one of the first things he said to me is that in North America, 80% of the suicides that are committed by people over 40 are men.
I know. It's horrible.
And the other thing too is it's the same percentage amongst our teenagers.
The same percentage, 80% are boys?
Yes.
Wow.
When I heard that for the first time, that froze me.
It breaks my heart.
Yeah. And what it told me is there are a lot of men that are just quitting. And for many men, it's easy to quit.
I was just going to say, I have so much compassion for that, though, where it seems like it would have to seem like there's no other way, or I won't be loved. I won't, I'm letting everyone down, right? It's got to get so dire that seems like the option that's better.
It's hard. And again, that's a whole other conversation piece. And any men that I've had to discuss that subject with, I said, well, who loses if you do that? And the right answer is it's not just you.
Right. Everybody around you, everyone you've
right?
interacted
Stop,
with.
who loses when you do something like that?
Yeah.
And it just like, and that's why, and when I help men, I would say, hey, if you're reaching this goal, dream, and desire, who wins if you do it?
Yeah.
Who wins? It's like almost like a cell. It's not all about you. Other people are going to benefit. So
it's powerful to remember, right, that we're not just here for us, and that our suffering actually could be, very instrumental in someone else's healing or someone else's growth.
Hey, there's no testimony without a test.
Yeah.
Right? There's no testimony. And folks, hey, I have them too. So I am not sitting on top of some plane. I go through my struggles too, believe me, but I make sure that if I have them, I have a community.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, what you do. Yeah. So what do you do when you struggle?
When I struggle, I first of all say, okay, who in my community can I speak or share this about?
Yeah.
And that's, again, going back to the relationship piece.
Yeah.
Relationships are the foundation for me. For me, relationships are everything. So it's interesting. One of the other things I do is I'm certified to facilitate a course called Super Dad, Super Kids. And one of the modules is about discipline. And one of the things during the course that we tell men is that if your child does something before just reacting off the cuff, 3 things: what happened, why it happened, and what's the next best thing to do. And when I first facilitated that in the course, I said, you know what? That's good for adults too.
Yes, not just kids.
It's just not just kids. So going through that process, wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. What happened? Why did it happen?
Why did it happen?
What's the next best, not the next thing to do, the next best thing to do.
Yeah. That is a really good one for adults too. And I often find that with my kid, it can't all get solved right in that moment, right? Especially if it's very emotional, or it's a hot moment. And so then we also have to look at, I think, right, what's the next best thing to do? And then how do we want to come back to this and debrief and figure out? But one of the things I'm really appreciating too is, why did this happen? I often talk with adults too about assuming the best about people. So if we assume the best and then we get curious with someone, it's very different than like, oh, I knew you did that to hurt me, or you did that on purpose, or you said that because you for whatever reason, like assuming the worst. I think it really changes relationships. And so I love that you're asking, why did this happen? What was my role in it? How could I have changed this or contributed differently without blaming or shaming anyone about it?
Absolutely. Well, you know what? I can have you as my teacher too. There we go. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying our conversation.
Me too.
It's been worth the wait.
Good. So what would you say, how do you help men ask those questions of, why did this happen? And what was going on here, from a place of not blaming or shaming, right? But, what guidance do you give them to really get, maybe there was a need that this child had or this person had who's in front of me? And how can I open to that instead of staying in my own box where I think this is the way it is and this is what happened and this is what I need to fix? Well,
one of the things is, and I said it earlier, investment in time. This is the thing, because if a man is in that mindset, that just didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Some men will get it.
Yeah.
Others, it'll take some time.
Yeah.
And we also have to have that reflection piece.
Yeah.
So if an incident happened like that in the past, how would you reframe it going forward?
Yes, that's powerful.
Right. Not only action-wise, but verbally. Not only just body-wise, but what did you say?
What would you say?
What would you say, or what would you do differently? And do you understand that? Because I always like to say, is that fair? Because
what do you mean by that?
Because when I explain something to a man, I like to say, is that fair? Because if someone feels that they're being treated fairly, they're going to move forward.
Interesting.
But if they don't feel like they're being treated fairly, they're still there. They're still there. And at the end of the day, that man has to make that decision. I cannot make that man move. He has to come with that decision on his own. I'm there to help, but at the end of the day,
he's got to do it.
Let's put it this way. Whenever we get into arguments, many people try to convince someone they're arguing with, it ain't gonna happen.
Yes.
He ain't moving.
No.
They have to make that movement to that goal, dream, or desire. We can layer it all nice.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can.
Like I could make you a beautiful cornbread, but if you don't want to have it, I can't force you to have it.
Right. No, here's my kid often gets stuck on it's not fair. And that, from one perspective, I think it's kind of an immature attitude, but the way you're talking about it sounds different. It's more like justice or, a sense of goodness on both sides.
Yes. No, that's the thing. And again, maybe a little bit different in the parent-child relationship, but then if, in that case, I'd say back to, okay, what don't you find fair about it? Mm-hmm. Ask those questions and then work from what they don't find. And it may take some time, but you're delving deep and say, okay, well, it's not fair. Nuts to you. No, why do you not find it fair? What part of it? And find that common ground that you can work on to start moving forward. Because if you say it's not fair, and okay, you're still polarized apart, right? Yeah. And again, that person they may do it, but they're not doing it. They might be doing it with good intent. Right. They're just doing it for doing its sake, and they'll find.
Yeah, I just was thinking that, the capacity or the ability to tolerate those uncomfortable conversations without just walking out and just saying, well, my way is that, my way is the right way.
Well, and the way we deal with each other's parents, the parents deal with kids, it's changed. It's changed even the last year. Mm-hmm. It's changed in the last year. And I'll drop this suggestion that came about from a member of my community that I know a lot of people have had to do schooling from home, et cetera, et cetera. I guess it's changed a little bit now, but still a lot of it may be happening. Here's a suggestion for your parents out there. Midday hugs.
I love that.
Because most of the time, we wait till the end of the day.
Yeah.
Take that time, be intentional and say, hey, whatever, just let's do like a midday hug for a few minutes.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Don't wait till the end of the day. And actually, too, we as adults can even do it too. If we were working people in the workplace, hey, like a friend of mine, what she does is her and a colleague once a week go for a walk. Like they don't live at the same, so they go for a walk and talk to each other on their phone. They're intentional with that time every Friday. Yeah, go out for a walk with each other together. That's so great. Be intentional, especially with your young people, if you can. That midday hug or that midday check-in.
Yeah.
If you're not with them during the day, just do that midday check-in, because remember, our young people are in a lot of ways going to mirror what we example to them.
Isn't that scary sometimes?
It is, but we have to realize that they are smart individuals.
Yes, very smart.
They don't forget anything.
No. The other thing that I've been looking at recently is when my kid is acting out or, being crazy in some ways. One time I found myself saying, I wonder if sometimes you might want more attention or more hugs from me or something. And my kid was like, yes, I want more hugs all the time. And I was like, oh, okay. Right.
There you go.
But sometimes I would look at that behavior and be like, ugh, stop it. It's exhausting. Why are you doing that? Right. And then starting to try to look at it from that deeper place. Well, why is this kid actually doing this? What's the goal?
Ask questions. Ask questions. Be curious. Ask questions. It's the same thing. What I've noticed with many men that I've helped, when they do something wrong, most of the time they're just thinking about themselves. When they do something great and they're proud of it, it's more than themselves.
Oh, interesting. So when you find when men do something great, they're often thinking beyond themselves.
Yeah. A lot of times things will happen in the heat of the moment. Let's go. I have helped with men that have been unfortunately on the wrong side of the law.
Yeah.
And when they come to me and I'll say, did you think the impact this was going to have on your kids? No, I didn't.
No. Yeah.
So, and there have been unfortunate situations where they haven't. They were just thinking about themselves in the moment. They weren't thinking about the impact, not on their kids, their family, the people that love them. They didn't think about that.
Yeah.
They didn't think about that. So yes, we need to do our self-care. But even then, if you're doing self-care, it just doesn't benefit you. It benefits people all around you and who you're dealing with. And on top of that, you can be a great example for others who want to get to that point. Just
we go back for a moment to the struggle. Yeah. I know you were saying, when you struggle, you reach out, you get support, you don't go it alone. What are some of the other things that you do when you're struggling?
Listen to soulful house music.
Nice.
I wouldn't have got through university without listening to music because I couldn't stand the stuff I was studying. It would put me to sleep. So it kept me awake. Here's another strange one. I'll reach out to other people and see how they're doing.
I love that one.
Yeah, because it puts in perspective that, hey, what I'm going through compared to others is minuscule. There's a lady in my community, another lady, they host their own online show. I gave them mentorship on starting it. And like a week ago, they announced that they can't be doing it anymore, and they didn't give their reason. So yesterday, I've got my phone right here. I'll be honest and open because I want to share what I did. So I reached out to her and she replied back to me. Yeah. Hello, friend. Yes, just at the doctor appointment for me, all is good. Not great news with my father-in-law. He has cancer and it sucks.
Aww.
One day at a time, right? But we keep going. We are all good. How are you? I said, oh no, I have your family in prayer. Anything I can help you with, would love to catch up with you when you have some time.
Yeah, it's such a reminder.
So it's the little things. Like there's a group of men every week I reach out to them. And whether it's by text message, video message, that's another thing I've been doing a lot during the pandemic is sending video messages. Yes, and people love it. They love it because they say it's so personal. It's just better than just getting a text message. Like you're there, you took the time to send something specifically for me, video-wise in like 30 seconds. And I just say, how you doing? How are things? If there's anything I can, even if you just want to talk, if you want to chat.
I love your heart. You have a really beautiful heart.
Well, you know what? Sometimes it can cost me, but you know what? I don't mind.
No,
because the wins are so much greater than the losses. And I just want to make sure that I'm doing it with the right intent and it's relevant to my core. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for being willing, right? And for knowing, okay, your heart's going to get squashed in certain ways at certain times, but the wins are so much more than that.
Again, what is victory without struggle? And when you get to that victory, say, you know what? I had to do this. The other day, I was sharing with a young man who mentoring a little bit, and he's grown so much during the pandemic. And I said, you know what? I'm looking forward to the day that I can tell a bunch of people, I knew you when.
Yes. Beautiful.
And he just got a big smile on his face when I shared that with him.
So sweet. Can you tell us a little bit about, I know you have a show that you do that's sponsored by Dove for Men Care.
Yes.
Dove Men Care.
All right. So a little bit of a story behind that. I am a member of an organization called Dad Central. It's Canada's national fatherhood organization. It's been around for about 20 plus years. And about 3 years ago now, 3 years ago, September, I live in Toronto for people who are listening. And in Toronto, every year we have something called the Toronto International Film Festival. It's a very recognized film festival. And one of the things I keep abreast on what's going on in fathers, men, etc., on a regular basis, at least once a week, I'll just catch up on things. Was going through the internet one day, saw this press release. Dove Men Care promotes release of documentary on dads, premiering at the Toronto International Film Festival. Read through the press release, found out I missed it. But I said, no. Every good press release has the contact name and a phone number at the bottom. And another interesting thing about the film is it was produced by Boyce Howard, who is the daughter of the famous Ron Howard.
Oh, interesting.
Now I had a decision to make. I said, well, I missed the film next time. No. I said, okay, made that phone call to the person who did the press release. And there's something I have called, something that my mentor taught me called 3 asks. So every time that I'm in a conversation, a meeting that I want to achieve, I have my high ask, my medium ask, and my low level ask. because I don't want to leave with nothing.
Okay.
Call up the person saying, hey, I'm so-and-so. I host and produce this, give my credibility the other way. Say I would have really liked to have caught the premiere because I know all the dags could have invited them to it. Well, and the lady said, well, it was last minute, things at the film festival. Yeah, I got it because I've done film festival stuff. But then I said, okay, well, my big ask was, can I do work with your PR company?
Yeah.
She said, no. Can you put me on some sort of list that you have? So maybe if anything else comes up, okay. And I said, great. And then another ask I had is, can I send you some of the stuff I've done with fathers online? She said, yes. Win.
Awesome.
Then I asked her, okay, do you mind if I follow up with you in 3 months?
Great.
Yes. Now, the reason why I asked that question, listeners, when I call her back, I'm not calling her to bother her. I'm going to say, as per our conversation, you told me it was okay to give you a call.
Yes.
So
by then she will have looked at all of your information and what you've done.
You're better than me. You're reading my alleged mind. Well, 2 months later,
yes,
I get an email on a Friday afternoon. Hey, Dr. Vibe, how you doing? Fine. Would you like an opportunity to work with Dove Men Care? I said, nah, I got better things. No, I just joking, right? I was just joking. So I said, okay, yeah, I would love to. Okay, let's meet Monday morning. I go, okay, all right. This is what I did. And there may be some nuggets here for people, yes or no. Found out on the call, who am I going to be meeting with? So then I made sure I looked up on LinkedIn, found out who I was meeting with, found out all their backgrounds, etc. Next up, did deep dive into the Dove Men Care website. What do they do? What do they stand for? Any recent media, just to get a pulse. Then, all right, had the meeting. Monday, it was via phone. The 3 ladies came on. They grilled me for 45 minutes.
Oh my gosh. I love it was 3 ladies.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind. It doesn't bother me at all because I was confident on what I knew and I did my research.
Yeah.
So I took it as an opportunity. And what happened eventually is they wanted to do a national campaign in Canada. I said, look, I'm a solopreneur. I don't have bandwidth for that, but I'm a member of a national father organization. Would you like to chat with them? Yes. Win.
Awesome.
At the end of the conversation, the 3 ladies asked me, you were fantastic. We love your passion. Do you have any questions for us?
And what did you say?
Here's a question. Take this one if you want, folks. I asked them, you ladies work with Dove Men Care. You're the PR agency, Edelman PR, one of the biggest ones in the world.
Yeah.
What are the 3 things that keep you up at night working with Dove Men Care? The phone went silent for 30 seconds. They weren't ready for that question.
No.
When they responded to me, everything they gave me, I said, Dad Central can help you with this. Dad Central can help you with that. Dad Central can help you with this.
Wow.
The reason why I said that question, folks, is you want to be a solution to someone's
problems. Brilliant.
And if you
so now the show, what's the show that you're doing with them?
Okay, so what happened is we negotiated. And here's the funny thing: when the agreement was first signed, they had no thought process of doing a podcast. I told them, you need to get into Dad's phones. You need to do podcasting, and I can help you because I can shortcut the shortcut for you because I've done 2,500 of them.
Oh my God.
It didn't become a priority till the pandemic hit.
Interesting.
Once the pandemic hit, now if you go to the dadcentral.ca site, every month we have done a webinar for dads.
Awesome.
And I'm the only person in the world as we speak right now that hosts something like that for the Dove Men Care brand.
Wow. So cool. So cool. I mean, thank you for sharing about how you, in a way, created this opportunity, right? I mean, it's in service and it took something for you to actually get in the door and, work your way through to be able to serve in a bigger way.
Yeah. Being curious and knowing my worth.
Yes.
But knowing how I could help others win.
Right. Knowing how you can help others win. And that, yes, that's a huge one. And then being willing to be curious at a deeper level.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Because when you're pitching, it's not about you. It's about the other party.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to realize. We all think we've got fantastic products. I'm a great coach. No, what about the other
What about
person?
the other person?
Right. We've been very blessed, our team doing that. We started doing them in March of last year. We had a target to hit from March to the end of last year. We beat that by 10%. And the goal that the target that Dove Men Care Edelman gave us this year, we've already surpassed it by 50%.
Nice. Wow. Amazing. Congratulations. That's a huge celebration.
Yeah, that's huge. It's been a huge blessing, and we're gonna amplify it and take it to the next level. And I'm really humbled to be part of that great thing, because again, it's helping so many people, not only in Canada but around the world. So I feel very humbled to be part of a great initiative.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. Like we said, we could do part 2 or a whole series. We can keep going with this. Yeah,
I have a feeling we will.
We'll do more. Any last thing you want to leave men with?
Remember to give yourselves grace. It's been a challenging time, men, and it always has been. Yeah. But especially over the last little while, give yourselves grace. And if you are struggling, please reach out to somebody. Even if you need to reach out to me, I don't care, because we live in a global world. Yeah. You know, it all starts with you, and we need you, man.
We need you. Mm-hmm.
We need you, because I'll say it for myself. The better our men are, the better they are as men, the better they are as fathers, the better they are for their families, and the better they are for the world.
Yes,
that's me.
That is my sentiment exactly.
Right. So keep on listening to these broadcasts. This beautiful lady is doing wonderful things, and she's doing it with the right heart, the right intent. So please, please support her any way you can. Even if you listen to 2 minutes, that makes a difference.
Yeah. Thank you.
That makes a difference. So I'm just truly humbled to share with you and your wonderful community. And I look forward to doing more, because we got a lot of people to help, including ourselves.
We do. And where can men find more of you and your broadcasts?
The best place right now is my website, thedrvibeshow.com, and also at Dad Central, DADCENTRAL.ca. There's a lot of free resources on dadcentral.ca. Awesome. A lot of things you can download for free at that platform. So I don't want to hear men saying, listen, well, I don't know where to get any help. You go to that website, or you contact me to where you can get those resources, and we want you to be better.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
So blessed. Thank you so much. Take care and give yourselves grace.
Thank you. I'm so glad you joined us for today's episode of Man Alive. I hope you enjoyed our conversation and it gave you something to consider and explore in your life. If you like what you heard, I'd be so grateful for you to subscribe and write a quick review that helps men like you find us. And again, head over to ShanaJamesCoaching.com/quiz or text the word ALIVE, ALIVE, to 44144 to get a sense of how you can become a better lover and leader. You'll start to see how you can be both more respected and desired in your unique and genuine way. If you don't feel as confident or as excited about life or love as you'd like to be, this quiz is a really great starting point and will guide you toward a more passionate love life and a more inspiring and successful career. So again, text ALIVE, ALIVE, to 44144 or head over to ShanaJamesCoaching.com/quiz. Join us each week for a new episode of Man Alive.